Hi everyone, I'm Carla Barnhill. I'm the Senior Director of Development and Product Design at Sparkhouse, and I wanted to tell you about a new small group resource, an adult small group resource that we have coming out in July that we are really excited to get into your hands. We feel like we're at a time in our kind of culture right now where it's really gotten difficult to talk about a lot of things. I don't know about you, but like Thanksgiving dinner doesn't sound awesome right now. Like being with people that we don't always agree with, we don't seem to know how to have good conversations. And so we created this resource, the Dialogues On resource, to help facilitate those conversations and give people skills that they can use to have meaningful conversations around difficult topics without those conversations going off the rails. And so we started this series with the topic of the refugee crisis. And when we first started envisioning this resource, it was right after the first travel ban came down back in 2017, beginning of 2017. And all of a sudden, refugees and immigrants and asylum seekers, they were in the news in a way that they really hadn't been before that. And all of a sudden, there was this controversy around, should we be accepting refugees? Who are these people? How do they get here? How are they screened? What do we know about them? How much does this cost us? All these questions were starting to kind of come to the forefront. And because it was such an emotional issue, we sort of lost our way on how to talk about this and how to sort of figure out, what does it look like for us to be the church in this moment? What does it look like for us to care for refugees in ways that are important and meaningful and effective in the United States and around the world? And so we brought in people to help us talk about this. And I'll tell you what, in putting this book together, I learned so much about everything from what's the difference between a refugee, an immigrant, and an asylum seeker. What is the screening process? What do they go through? Where do people come from, and what are they going through? And I found that, most refugees are screened for up to 2 years before they're even allowed to be resettled anywhere. I learned that the United States takes less than 1% of the world's millions of refugees, and that other countries like Jordan and Turkey take far more than we do. And why is that the case? And what can we do about that? Should we do something about it? All these questions. What happens to refugees who aren't resettled? Where do they go? Where do they live? What are their lives like? And so all of those questions are things we felt like people needed to be talking about. And like I said, I learned a ton doing this project. And I think as a reader and as a small group participant, you'll find yourself surprised, no matter where you are right now on the topic of refugees, no matter how you're sort of feeling about people being resettled in the United States, or what we should be doing in other countries to help solve the problems that lead to refugee crisis. All of those things are worth talking about, and they're worth talking about with good information behind us and with real skills to be able to talk about them well. So together with this hot topic, an important topic, a topic that the church has been wrestling with and talking about and involved in for nearly a century, and the process that we give you through the facilitator guide and the small group process, we think that this is an opportunity for the church to really talk about this well and maybe come up with some action plans as a congregation, as a small group, as a community, where you can have meaningful engagement with people who really need our help.